And welcome back to the Music Bar Podcast, episode 38. And welcome, Dan. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good, Chris. How's yourself?
Yeah, really good, actually. Thank you for asking.
You're
to
so
discuss.
polite.
I try to be when I can. But lots to talk about
I'm
this week, actually.
fired up today, Chris. I'm
It's
fired
good.
up.
Lots of news, lots of interesting news.
Oh, lots of good stuff. Lots of
Yeah.
good stuff.
Can we start with something really interesting that we only discovered, I think, yesterday?
Really interesting. Gosh, okay, really, okay, more interesting than the other stuff. Okay, let's go. Let's
Start with the Pantera.
Oh, this is all over this is everywhere. In the last 24 hours, this has gone bunter, hasn't it?
It has. It's gone nuts. And everybody's talking about it. I must have seen 20 posts about this information within 20 minutes. And I was blown away by it. So obviously people who haven't heard about it yet, who are listening or viewing, Pantera are coming back to do a tour. Obviously, there's only two of the original members, which is Phil, the singer, and Rex, the bass player. Vinny has passed away, and so has Dimebag, obviously. So two of the four are going to come back and do it. What are your thoughts on Pantera touring with two people instead of four, and the songwriter Dime not being part of it?
But it's been confirmed the other two new members.
As in Zach and what's his name?
Zach Wilde and Charlie Benante from Anthrax.
Yep.
So it's confirmed. They are the guys. Wow. And I'm telling you, before I give my thoughts, the response has really been split, hasn't it, Chris?
It has.
And I think you and I are going to be split on this one too. When we discussed this Pantera, because you and I have both seen them live, and I still think they're one of the best live acts I've ever seen. They were a band that needed to be seen live. So the idea of seeing Pantera's music coming back and being played live is fantastic. My take is Daryl and Vinny, such a presence, both physically and almost, to me, the spiritual heart of the band with those two guys. To me, is it a tribute or is it a reunion tour? And that's the thing. And I'm not sure, because to me, I don't care what you say about Zach Wilde, and I know Charlie Benante is a fabulous drummer, but there's something. Daryl had his thing, and Vinny had his thing. And I always just remember at the show, they always did this thing where they poured beers and threw them out into the crowd. I caught one.
Oh, did you really?
I did. I was so proud of myself because I'm short. And I managed to catch one of the beers, and it still had beer in it. They would come with a keg, pour beer, and they would fling them into the crowd. So by the time he got them, there wasn't much beer left. But mine had a good half left, and it was like people are tall. I always go to concerts. All my friends are your height. I always go to shows with big, tall guys. So everyone's around me trying to grab, and it sort of pop, and into my hands. And I'm like, yay! And then poured it all over myself. So, because what you do? I'm in a sweaty pit at Pantera. I'm going to pour a beer all over myself.
For sure.
What? Yeah. But back on that. What got me was most of the throwing was done by Vinny.
Oh, really?
And at the end of the guy had arms on him like I'm sure he must have played some American football growing up, because the arms on the guy were enormous. And I remember at the end of the show, he would get like the skins off his drums or whatever it was covering it, and he'd fling them into the crowd. Because, at the end, they were just flinging stuff into the crowd. You remember when Vinny would throw it, it would go nearly to the end of the auditorium.
Yeah, like a frisbee.
He had a monster throw on him. I don't see Charlie Benante doing that.
I don't think Charlie needs to. I think those days are gone. This is not about those days reminiscing that way. It's about music.
Yeah, I know, but there's something about the...
My point.
Okay, right, your point. I
don't think... I think with Van Halen, with Eddie passing away, If they came out now and did something like Linkin Park did, you would find it more of a tribute. But like I think I said to you yesterday on the phone, I think having Pantera come back in any form, be it these two of them or a kind of a tribute act, whatever you want to call it, the music's been written by some of the greatest musicians ever. So that doesn't change the fact that the songs are played by or written by, I mean, Dime and Vinny. It's all been produced. Everyone knows the albums. So it's been 20 or so years since they broke up. How about bring that music live back to the people who don't know it, play it live to the people like us who love it. I've always felt that if you can if you have a singer who can sing the songs as well as they could in the originals, you probably have a pretty good tribute show anyway. So here you got Phil playing Pantera songs, which he was the singer on anyway. It's going to sound really good. Yes, you'll miss some of the Dimebag stuff because I don't think Zach can do what Dime did, but I'd still rather go watch a show with half the band like I would if I went and saw, like you might have seen me before, I've worn a T-shirt before that says The Other Half, and that's Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony. They're a band now called The Circle, playing Van Halen songs. I'd go watch them play because I know you'll never see a Van Halen tour again, just like this Pantera one. Should they call it Pantera? I don't really care if it's called Pantera or Pantera 2.0. It doesn't really worry me. My main idea of this is to hear that music live, the best we can get it without Diamond Vinny, but you still have a singer, so it's going to sound pretty close to the original. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they tour here. I just think I'm disappointed in a sense that Zach's doing it, but Zach was one of Dimebag's best friends, so I think there are better players out there who use a Wemmy bar, the Floyd Rose, which is what Dimebag did. I don't know how Zach goes on that, but be it as it may, I just think bringing that music out of the darkness and out of the vault to the new generation of music heads now, I think it's a great thing for Pantera. I think it's a great thing for metal, and because it isn't so much thrash, it's not so much heavy metal. It is that groove metal they kind of created their own kind of genre. I hope that will bring the young people from this day and age in bands the same kind of like, let's create music like that, because there's not really anything else like Pantera this day and age, if you know what I mean. I can't wait.
Look, I take your point. I'm real hesitant. And one of the things, it just keeps going in my head as soon as we've talked about this, even now while I'm talking about you, is Daryl's sound, Dimebag's sound, the tone he had on his guitar, that squall he would get. It was like this weird squall he could make his guitar do. That to me, if you can't have that, then what have you got? You know, it's just there was something. Even now, I just think about it, that squall that Daryl could create with his guitar, and they were a one guitar band.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, classic case of there's only room in this band for one guitarist. You know, and that was.
I'm definitely on board with that. That's why I'm not sure if Zach was the right pick, but he can do a lot of those high pitched squeals.
But it's the way Daryl did it.
It's harder without a whammy bar. So he might change. I'm pretty sure he will have access to any instrument or amp that he needs to get the sound as close as he can to what Dimebag did. And he obviously been friends with the family. So he'll still be friends with Dimebag's wife, Rita. So he'll be able to get anything he wants. Guitars, he has his own guitar brand anyway called Wild. So,
I know.
I think it's better than nothing, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they tour here. I will go see it, even if it is Zach. I'm not a big fan of Zach. I like some of his music he's written in the past with Ozzy and even his Black Label Society, but we'll see how we go. But anything, I'll take it. Otherwise, it just stays away.
Look, I like what you say there about the music will fade. That's a really good point, actually, that, the music's meant to be heard live. And that's a really good point. Why should it die? We should never hear it again. I think that's a really lovely point, Chris. I'm still unsure about it, but that point you make is really good, because as I said to you before, when Dweezil Zappa started running around, it was because he wanted the music of Frank Zappa to be alive and to still keep living, so that people, and it does, new generations. I suppose that's why, Motley Crue have got back together again, because when they called it quits, they didn't realize that they were going to become stupidly popular again.
Yeah,
so it's like, well, why let this die? And yeah, I really do, I get that, and that's a very passionate way to go about it. But yeah, look, it's really divided, and look, I can't ignore the fact that that a lot of people are bringing up the whole Phil white power thing. That's there, it's out in the public, whether you don't have to like that, but the fact that Pantera, you're a fan, I'm a fan, I'm still unsure, you're very passionate about it. The music should live. I get it. I appreciate that. And that's probably why. And I admire your passion. I'll give it to you. You were really on that one. That's really got you, which is a lovely thing. It's a great thing. And, this is what we do this podcast for, because we love it. And we're passionate about the music that we love. And
Malcolm Young, he wrote all the AC/DC songs, and they're still playing now without Malcolm Young. So should it have stopped straight away? No. They replace him with your nephew and keep playing. Pantera's been 20 or so years.
Look, it's been a long time. And look, you know what? To me, it is Dimebag's death is one of the ones that shocked me. It still does. Yep. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. And I don't, and it didn't, not to him. I mean, not that anyone deserves to go out the way that, but Daryl, knowing the way Daryl was with fans and stuff like that, he didn't deserve to go out like that.
No, he was. I met him. I met the whole band once, and he was they were all very friendly, to be honest. It was during the Far Beyond Driven tour. I've been lucky enough to go pay my respects to Dimebag at his gravestone. Yep. I've been there. I went there when I was in Texas. And I'll go back one day, because he's now obviously Vinny's buried next to him.
Yes, he is.
So I'll go back one day and pay my respects to them, because when the Dimebag died, yes, the way he passed away was just horrible. You can never think that was going to be the case. And I got upset when it happened. I was a huge Pantera fan. So yeah,
it still upsets me. It still upsets me. Yeah, I was a big fan too. I think Pantera's. I still think Vulgar Display of Power is probably one of the all-time great metal records.
Yeah, Mouth of War still. Oh, I love it.
So there's so many good songs on that walk. So many good songs on that. And so and Far Beyond Driven was pretty good too. Those.
Cowboys from Hell.
I love them. So, there's a car going up. That's a Pantera fan going past my house now.
Anyway, so that's the biggest news at the moment.
Well, I want to segue. Can I segue from one thing to another thing with that one?
Yep.
See, I'm going to connect. Pantera, both Dime and Vinny were buried in their Kiss caskets, because both of them were huge Kiss fans.
Yep.
And both of them are buried in their Kiss caskets with doesn't Daryl have Eddie's
guitar? Probably.
Guitar. Oh my God. I'm surprised no one's robbed that grave yet. But for local Australian fans, Kiss have had to cancel their Townsville tour.
Yeah.
Because North Queensland Cowboys, the football team up there, are probably going to play the finals, and that's going to coincide with their home final. So they're relocating the show to the Gold Coast.
Yay! Close to the home for me too.
I'm going to go, because I wasn't going to, but my kids are like, "Oh, Dad, we've never seen Kiss." And I thought, this is a bit, I'm going to have to take the kids to see Kiss, just to say you've seen them now, and watch the stage explode every 4 to 5 songs. They literally blow the stage up.
Yeah.
And
that conveyor belt will go across from one side to the other when the zip line they use.
Oh, yeah.
That will be there where Paul Stanley stands on that and goes across. It's all good show.
It's a cool show. It's a great show. So, going to go to Kiss. I'm really happy with that one. So I just wanted to segue Pantera into Kiss there. So Yep.
Fair enough.
September 10th at the Seabus Stadium at the Gold Coast down at Robina. Tickets are on. I'm going to go. I'm decided I'm going to go to see Kiss. Take the kids.
Yep.
Pass it on. Pass
Is
it
it a
on.
whole family affair or is the wife staying home?
Oh, well, Michelle's already seen them. And only two of the kids want to go, my oldest and my youngest. So we'll sort that out. So, yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Pretty good.
Big news. Other big news.
More big news.
There's lots of big news this week.
Bloody hell.
Someone we have spoken about in the past a few times, Nita Strauss, the guitarist for Alice Cooper for the past 8 years, has quit. She's played her last show with them, and now she's not going to go to the festival. So got a new guy coming back in. And
the new guy. Kane Roberts. Yeah, so
yeah.
And she's cancelled her solo tour as well.
Her festival dates, in Europe. So no one knows where she's gone. No one knows what she's doing. She hasn't announced it yet. She apparently jumped on a plane and went.
All she has said was, "I'm looking forward to my future endeavors, whatever that will be." I wonder if she was fired.
I doubt it.
We don't know. I mean, but it's
I don't think they'll fire her.
It's one of those things, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a draw card.
She was.
Yeah.
I have read a few different rumors on the rumor mill. Have you heard any of these?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Evanescence. She's going to play guitar for Evanescence.
Oh, that's a come down.
That's what I reckon.
I don't know.
Because they recently got rid of their female guitar player. They fired her. And they're about to go on tour with Hailstorm. And Izzy and Nita are friends. So I've heard that rumor, or read that rumor, I should say, that it could be Evanescence, which I do hope it's not, because I do not like Evanescence.
Oh, I think they're rubbish, but anyway.
And the other one, which was a bit of a rumor mill going around, I've been reading about, was playing for Judas Priest.
Replacing
I don't know. So I don't know. We don't know. Those two could be completely wrong. I'm only going by what the internet's been giving us in rumor mill and different magazines have been talking about. But
that's news to me, because I haven't heard those rumors, but all of them are, I mean, legitimate. And the thing is, when you look at it, both acts, regardless of whether you like Evanescence or Judas Priest, both of them are big draw cards concert-wise. Evanescence are still a big band, regardless of whether we like them or not. They bring out a record, it sells, it goes well. They tour, people really dig Evanescence, and Priest they're a classic metal band. They can play big venues and stuff. Does that keep her as a hired hand, so to speak? If you know what I mean?
Well, they fired the guitar player from Evanescence who was part of the band, so she wasn't hired. And so if she joins Evanescence, I think that might not be a hired hand, but I think if she joined Judas Priest, she would be. But I personally hope both those rumors are wrong, and it's something else we have no idea about. So that's what I hope.
Yeah, it just seems like it's such an abrupt exit, isn't it?
It is very quick. It was, especially with a few shows to go. I think starting, when was the next show starting?
Alice is always touring. Alice is one of those acts. He's always touring. There's always something going on with Alice Cooper.
September, October, I think the next lot was starting. So
a
bit of a gap in between, but it's kind of, who knows? Anyway, it was big news again. It made every magazine I follow. The internet was blown up about it in what I follow, and it was actually quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. Great guitar player, great presence on stage, and I've got a solo album. Great songwriter as well. So,
and
tune into that.
She also has a lot of people following her on socials because of her fitness regime too.
Yeah, she has her own fitness app, I believe.
Oh yeah, and people. Like my daughter follows Nita Strauss, for her fitness and everything like that. So
Yeah, no, she's done well for
yeah.
herself.
She's got a real thing going on there with that. Oh, good luck to you, Nita. Whatever it is, you know, we'll be following because she's an amazing guitarist. And
if you watch this, Nita, feel free to come on and announce it here live.
Please come on the show, Nita. Well, what would you do if Belinda Carlisle and Nita Strauss, Chris?
Well, Pink has a new song out too, which I haven't spoken about yet, but I'm pretty much. It's called Irrelevant. I'm thinking it's irrelevant. Anyway.
I do like Pink, but anyway.
I do like Pink, but the new song was a bit boring for me.
Oh, okay.
Metallica. When I say Metallica, what do you think right now?
Right at the moment, what I'm thinking well, a lot of thoughts came into my head because they've just become the biggest band in the world again, haven't they, Chris?
Absolutely.
Now, I remember a few episodes back, I said, Chris, are you watching Stranger Things? And you went, no. When I said, oh, there's a character on there, Eddie Munson. He's writing metal and stuff like, you know, there's a great scene where he's got a copy of Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind on cassette and he goes, this is music.
Yeah.
And then in the final episode of season 4, which is aired only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, because before that, the first part of the season, Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill was featured pretty heavily in the show. And that song just went crazy up the charts again. And Kate Bush became this star again.
It's number one, actually.
It went number 1, yeah. And then in the final episode, during the final battle, Eddie Munson, that character, is playing, he's using his metal guitar prowess, and he's playing Master of Puppets to the final battle sequence, whatever's going on in the show. And now Stranger Things is so huge that all these people are going, Metallica, Master of Puppets. It went up the charts, number 2 in America, number 9 in Australia.
Yeah.
And Metallica are like huge again. And what I did love is you got the gatekeepers, you know, who go, oh, well, you people are pretend Metallica fans. You only got into Metallica through Stranger Things and you're not a real Metallica fan. And Metallica themselves have come out and went, nope, everyone's welcome in the Metallica family.
Yeah.
And recently I just tagged you in a video of them live in stage in Italy, if I believe correctly. And they opened with Whiplash. Speaking of that, everyone's welcome to the Metallica family. It opened with James saying, we are Metallica, you are Metallica. Yeah. And I thought, and then they kicked off with Whiplash, and I was like, how good are these guys playing at the moment? Wow. Yeah. Well, where did they go? What level have those guys gotten to?
I think I said to you, I think maybe in the last podcast actually, that I think his voice is better than ever right now. And when I was watching him sing Whiplash, and there was another one they sang as well, which Metal Militia. For me, hearing his voice over the years I've listened to Metallica, I think he's doing so well for someone his age, just shy of 60. Honestly, if whatever he's doing as a singer, he should pass on his lessons or his help to the rest of the guys like Vince Neil and Joe Elliott, Bon Jovi. They all need help. And James, who sings this kind of style of music, is singing so well. It's dumbfounded me that he is not one of the other side of it. And he's the one keeping it together so well.
I know.
They are playing so well. They are sounding amazing.
Lars is playing tighter than I've heard him play for a long time. He's been sloppy for a long time. I mean, he's Lars. And, you know, you and I have both gone, oh, yeah, Lars, you know, and your mate Corey said, no, but he's Lars. He's playing those songs. But just watching those shows in Europe, Lars is like, they've all found this second, maybe it's the Stranger Things thing, this second wind with the guys. It's like they weren't going through the motions. I mentioned to you, and I mentioned this many times to you, when they were supposed to come out here to Australia and then they had to pull out because James had succumbed once again to his demons. I remember I bought the tickets to the show. Then we started watching the videos from the European tour of the Hardwired tour. And I was a bit like, it just feels like they're going through the motions a bit. It just didn't feel great. It just sort of felt like, oh, I'm just going to watch a bunch of guys play some Metallica songs on stage. Yeah. But watching this show, I do like the presentation more. I think the stage presentation is much better.
Yeah.
But they are playing with so much vigor, intensity, passion, use that word again, and definite love.
Yeah.
It's like they've fallen back in love with what they're doing, that it's infectious. Even watching it on a screen on YouTube, I sat there just going, I am loving this. I am loving every second of what they're doing here. They're really, and I remember sending it to you and I just said, on fire.
Yeah. Did you see the little part where Kirk Hammett stuffed up the intro for Nothing Else Matters?
No, I hadn't got that far yet, but it doesn't surprise me.
I haven't in a while. I don't think it was the same concert as you watched, but he was coming out and he started playing on his greeny guitar and he was just like starting to play it and he stuffed it all up. And he started laughing. He just fell over on the ground and lay there for a bit. And then he got up again and just started playing it, And years ago, I don't know how they would have managed that. They probably would have got in trouble from James or Lars but now it's just like you can see he laughed. Everyone was like, okay, he's human. But it worked out really well. They all make mistakes sometimes, but to see that and their attitude afterwards, I was actually really amazed. And I just think all of them are having such a fun time. And I think it's helped that James went back to rehab to get past that again. They are just four guys having fun. Quickly before you go back onto that, Stranger Things, you said about gatekeepers. You can't argue with that when Metallica said what they said, because guess who helped Ty Trujillo, the bass playing son of Rob? He plays the solo for Stranger Things, and he was taught by Kirk. Kirk taught him. There's footage and there's video photos of that. So they are happy. They knew what was going on, and they are always going to be out there spreading their music, and they are part of the process. So good on them for putting down people who are going, don't do that. Great work.
Yeah, if you want to get into Metallica and you chose year 2022 to get into them through a TV show, thank you. Excellent.
Thank you.
There's a lot to get. There's a lot to uncover. I was going to say, we talk about mistakes. I remember going to see them years ago on the Death Magnetic tour, where they did do Master of Puppets, and James started singing the second verse and the first verse.
Oh, that's right. Of the show. You did say that,
and Kirk, I remember, I'll never get Kirk looking at him as if to go, what are you doing? Which makes me think they're all very aware of what's happening around them. But that just, I just remember, Kirk, because we're all in the crowd singing Master, and James starts the second verse, and we're all like, and then you obviously see Kirk's like, no. So they were prone to making mistakes. They've done it very regularly in their shows, but as you said, they do it better than a lot of other bands.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? They do it better. They really do. Yeah.
Any other news you have?
I think the only other thing I wanted to talk about was, I know you're not you said you're not a horror movie fan, but Rob Zombie, the trailers come out for the Munsters, the new Rob Zombie movie. I like Rob Zombie's music. I love Sick Bubblegum. It's one of my favorite songs. And I really do dig his music. But his movies, I thought Devil's Reject was pretty good, but his version of Halloween was garbage. And I've never been a big fan of his movies at all, especially the fact that a lot of people say this, and it's not nice, but I can't help. I've got to put my 2 cents in. I just don't dig him putting his wife in all of his movies. She's not that talented. Okay, Rob, she's not. She's not. And they've remade the Munsters, the old 60s TV show, because he's always loved it. He loves it. And the color, it's very colorful, and knowing Zombie, he makes everything look, he's good with what he does. And he's got his wife playing Lily Munster. I just played some old Munsters shows to my kids, and we laughed. We thought it was great. I don't know about this. I've seen the trailer. I like Rob Zombie. I like where he's at. I like what he does. I like his creativity and I love the fact that his house is literally almost like Kirk Hammett, this museum to monster movies and all that sort of stuff. I dig that about Rob Zombie, but I just don't know about his movies.
Fair
And I
enough.
like the fact that he is making movies, but Rob, your wife's just not that talented, you know? Just maybe it's a happy marriage though. If they're
Maybe.
still together and she's been in every one of his movies, they're still together, and if it's probably what keeps his marriage happy, the old saying, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Maybe that's so be it, Chris. So be it.
Yeah, fair enough. Quickly on running out of time here, but just I just read the other day that John Petrucci has a solo album out last year or the year before. He's actually going to do 3 shows.
You got to, everyone. Did anyone take these and have a little, yeah. There you go. John Petrucci.
He's doing 3 shows in America with Mike Portnoy as a drummer, the old drummer from Dream Theater. So, and then Dave LaRue, the bass player. So he's touring his solo album, just 3 shows. And Dave Elphinson, you know him?
Dave Ellefson.
Ellefson. He has got a new band.
Say it 3 times quickly, Chris.
Dave
Ellefson from Megadeth.
He's got a new band called Dire.
Oh, good. As long as it's not Elephantson or Elephson or Elephant Gun or Elephant Man or something.
The album is called In the Halls of the Hanging Serpents, and it's Death Thrash. And it's really, really heavy. The singer, I can't understand anything he says. But yeah, it's just come out the other day, a new song. You can go listen to it now. Dieth, which I thought was quite funny. Very close to Megadeth, Dieth. Move on.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a bit of interesting news. But yeah, back to cool thing now, hey?
Oh, geez, cool thing. You do yours first because I got nothing. I think if I can think something up quickly.
Okay. I was lucky enough last week to join a mate of mine on his podcast called the VK Bros. They have been in the past known as the RDO podcast, but they've changed and rebranded on episode 100. And I got a call out on Sunday morning to see if I could go and help record, because one of the VK Bros is Alex and Jason. Jason was really crook. So Alex, my mate who I've known since 2004, asked me to come on to the show and just help out. So I did. So thank you for having me on that show. If you do want to go and watch it, go to YouTube and type in the BK Bros. Like I said, that was episode 101, so they've got a lot to talk about in the past. It's not about music, it's about what's going on in the world, political, whatever it is, COVID, health, general interests, Tesla, Elon Musk. It's just everything they talk about. So it's actually a really good show. I've been watching it since day one. But yeah, I was really fortunate to be on the guest host with that the other day. Thank you, Alex, for asking me. And if Jason's ever sick again, I have no problems going on again. I'm now prepared a bit more for it. But it is a really good show. Jason and Alex work really well together, being brothers anyway. They know each other really well. But it's a really good show. So go check out the VK Bros on YouTube.
Oh,
your cool thing?
Well, my cool thing, I can't go past it, Chris. Queensland won the State of Origin on Wednesday night. It's probably one of the greatest State of Origin games ever played. It was brutal. It was intense. It was the highlight of the week. And probably the cool thing, because I work in sport radio, was the next day hearing all our callers and our people texting on the show. The city of Brisbane was still buzzing the next day. People were still on a high. People telling us they couldn't sleep that night. They were that excited, staying up late, all that sort of stuff. So it was a very cool thing because I was in sport radio. Very cool thing to be a part of. So yeah, that was my cool thing for the week, Chris.
And touching on that game, actually, I'm a Blues supporter.
No,
I was looking forward to that game. Probably the best, the most out of all the latest Origins, because it's very hard to beat Queensland team in Queensland. So to watch that game, to see what I saw, it was one of the best games I've ever seen. And I've always said, because I don't live in New South Wales, I live in Queensland, but I've never supported Queensland. I honestly love a great state of origin, no matter who wins. I love the fact that it was close all the way through until near the very, very end. Even then, it was pretty close. What a great game to watch. I was off on the edge of my seat the whole time. You never, ever say, even when we're winning, Blues are winning, you can never put Queensland down. You're always nervous at the very last second for Ben Hunt to get that try at the end. I just turned it off and went to bed. But what a great game. And I had 3 injuries in the first 4 minutes, so those players were off. And it had one of the best fights I've seen since Paul Gallen back in 2014, I think it was, or 15.
Something like that, yeah.
And I don't agree with what they did, setting off 2 players and not the third. I think that was a bit wrong, especially Tino jumping in and putting the guy on a headlock. I think it was completely wrong. He should have been sent off as well, but they wouldn't have won anyway, regardless, probably. Queensland had a really good defence in that last half. So
I was going to say, what got me watching the television plus listening to my own radio station's broadcast, that crowd, the roar of that crowd through the whole game. Even the television commentators were having to yell because they couldn't hear themselves. And I've talked to the guy who called the game for our station. He said he couldn't hear himself. He yelled through the whole game. He could not hear himself over the crowd. He said it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
That's one of the reasons why it's hard to beat Queensland in Queensland, because honestly, I just don't think you have that passion in New South Wales. So it's not there. You don't get it. No. Anyway, that's it for us.
Go for Queensland, Chris. Go for Queensland. I don't understand you. Why do we do this?
I've always gone for the Blues. Always. Since I lived in Tasmania, before I lived in Queensland. That's why I did that.
This podcast is over.
Yes, it is. It's time, actually. Anyway, thank you for everybody for watching again. Please subscribe and like and tell your friends. We don't only do
and get the ding bell too. Get the bell that says, hey, the new podcast is up. You know, notifications, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you don't pay for it. It just comes on your feed saying the new episode. How good's that?
Yeah. And Chris and I just talk about music that we love. And, you know, it's just something going on all the time now, isn't there?
There is. Absolutely. Anyway,
and
thank you very much.
Love it.
Talk to you soon.
See you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.